They didn't lose a person. They lost their access to the upgrade they never deserved. That's the truth they hate the most. And let's not sugarcoat it today. When people walk out of a chosen one's life thinking you'll be standing in the same spot waiting for them, that's the first sign they never understood who they were dealing with. It's like someone throwing away a phone that holds all their passwords, only to realize they'll never remember a single one without it. They thought you were replaceable. They thought someone better was one swipe away. But now they're learning the most painful lesson the universe gives out. Losing access to you hits harder the longer you're gone, and they're feeling that sting every day. Think of it like this. Someone tosses a rare painting in the trash because they didn't see the value. A week later, they find out it was worth millions. That panic they feel, that's exactly what's happening inside the people who let you go. Their chest feels tight. Their mind keeps replaying moments they didn't deserve. Their ego is cracking like cheap glass, because deep down they know the truth. You were the blessing. They were the liability. You were the one keeping everything stable. You were the one bringing peace, loyalty, effort, and energy. You were the one building them up while they gave you crumbs. And when someone like you walks away, the universe doesn't hand out replacements. It hands out consequences. Here's the fact your enemy hates the most. Regret is loudest when your silence is stronger than their excuses. They thought they could come back whenever they wanted. They thought you'd still open the door. But you didn't pause your growth. You didn't wait. You didn't shrink. You elevated. And nothing scares them more than seeing the person they once had full access to become a version they can't reach anymore. And thank you, Chosen One, for even being here with me right now. Don't forget to pay this message back by simply pressing the like button and subscribing. It helps spread this message to more souls because it's our shared responsibility to push light into this world. Thanks for being part of this mission. You're not just a viewer, you're part of a force. Now let's bring the energy right back to where it belongs. Here's the truth you need to understand from the very start. These people don't regret losing you. They regret losing what they got from you. That access, that support, that peace, that stability, that version of themselves they could only be when they were standing next to you. You were their flashlight in a room full of their own chaos, and the second you stepped back, their shadows got bigger. And now they're panicking because the version of you they lost. That version is never coming back. People always say if they regret it, they'll change. But change takes honesty, effort, work. Regret doesn't. Regret is the lazy man's apology. Regret is the band-aid they hope will replace surgery. Regret is what they feel when they want the benefits of you without the responsibility of valuing you. And that's the exact trap you're not falling into ever again. Letting them back now would be like giving a thief the keys to your house after they already robbed you once. Why would they treat you differently? Why would they suddenly appreciate what they ignored? Their actions already showed you their character. The universe exposed them the moment you stepped away, and everything in their life started to fall apart. Your presence was the balance. Your energy was the structure. Your effort was the glue. You were the quiet miracle they thought they'd always have, and the universe doesn't let them touch that twice. Listen closely. When people regret losing a chosen one, it's never because they woke up enlightened. It's because reality slapped them across the face. They realize the kind of loyalty you gave is rare. The kind of patience you had is rare. The way you loved, supported, understood, and stayed solid, rare. They thought they'd find it somewhere else. They thought they'd find someone better. Instead, they found confusion, disappointment, and people who only took from them without giving back. Now their regrets are piling up like bills they can't pay. and every regret has your name stamped on it. And if your spirit is feeling this right now, it's because you already know the truth. You're chosen for something bigger, something higher, something that requires you to walk alone sometimes. Not everyone gets to be part of your next chapter. Not everyone deserves to witness your glow up. Some people only deserve the goodbye. And chosen one, seriously, thank you for being here right now. Your energy keeps this entire mission alive. Before we go any further, take a second to lock in with me. If this message is hitting your chest, if you can feel the truth of it in your bones, press like and subscribe so this reality reaches more souls who need to hear it. Drop 777 in the comments if you're ready to stop letting people who wasted their chance circle back into your life like nothing happened. And if you feel called to support the team behind this message with a super thanks, know that even the smallest contribution keeps this work alive. Every bit of support pushes this movement forward and helps spread the truth. Your access is valuable, and not everyone deserves it. Now take a breath, chosen one. We're about to break this down step by step, and if you're truly stepping into your worth, you're going to feel pulled to stay until the very last word. Let's get into it. Number 1. When they lose their only source of warmth, reality hits them like ice. They didn't lose a person. They lost the one soul they could never upgrade, replace, imitate, or re-access. They hate that sentence. It slices straight through their ego like glass. And honestly, it should, because people who think they can walk in and out of a chosen one's life like it's some free trial are exactly the ones who deserve to feel the cold when the subscription ends forever. They thought you were just another warm body in their orbit. They didn't realize you were the entire climate holding their stormy little world together. That's the joke life played on them. They only understood your value when the universe cut their access and threw them into the dark for good. Here's the truth they're choking on right now. When they walked away, they didn't lose someone. They lost the source, the secret ingredient, the rare energy that kept their life from collapsing. You were the warmth they mistook for background temperature. You were the consistency they assumed would always refill. You were the peace they thought would stay, even when they disrespected it. They didn't know they were standing next to the sun until they wandered into the frost. And now, they're shivering in a reality they created themselves. Think about a person who takes sunlight for granted. They enjoy the warmth without appreciating the source. They ignore the glow because it's always there. Then one day, winter hits, and suddenly they're begging for even a sliver of heat. That's them right now. They're waking up every day wrapped in a cold that feels like punishment, because the truth is brutally simple. No one else brings what you bring. They're out here trying to find another you, but guess what? They're running into knockoffs, diet versions, imitations with no spark, no substance, no soul. They talk to other people, and it feels like eating a meal with no seasoning. They try to bond with someone new, and it tastes like cardboard. They're trying to feel something, anything, that reminds them of you, but nothing hits the same. Nothing feels as real. Nothing feels alive. Because what they lost wasn't a relationship, a friendship, or a situationship. What they lost was access to their only real source of warmth. Let's break the psychology for a second, because this is where your mind might start asking questions. Why do they suddenly regret it? Why now? Why after everything they did? Because regret doesn't show up when they hurt you. Regret shows up when consequences finally start speaking louder than their ego. They didn't expect you to heal. They didn't expect you to detach. They didn't expect you to stop caring. They didn't expect you to get stronger. You were supposed to be waiting. You were supposed to be available. They were banking on you being predictable. And the moment you weren't, their whole illusion cracked. Now they're replaying your moments together like it's the only thing that gives them oxygen. They're scrolling through memories like they're scrolling through old photos of the summer during winter. They're remembering the laughter they didn't appreciate, the comfort they didn't value, the loyalty they didn't match. They're remembering how your presence made their world feel safer, calmer, brighter, and worst of all, they're realizing the new people they meet don't see them the way you did. They don't tolerate their flaws. They don't nurture their insecurities. They don't hold them when they break. You did, and they threw it away. Here's the part they will never say out loud. They didn't think you'd actually leave. They thought you'd always be there, absorbing hit after hit. They thought your patience meant weakness. They thought your kindness meant dependency. They thought your loyalty meant you didn't have options. But when you finally walked, the universe flipped the switch, and they've been stumbling in the dark ever since. It's like someone smashing their phone because they're annoyed, then realizing all their passwords, photos, contacts, and memories were inside. They didn't just break the phone, they destroyed their access, and no, they can't restore it. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're spiraling. That's why their regret is suffocating them. But here's something important for you, chosen one. Don't confuse regret with growth. Don't confuse "I miss the benefits" with "I value the person." Don't confuse a lonely moment with a changed heart. People don't evolve just because they lost something valuable. Most people only get bitter, not better. They miss what you did for them, not who you are. They miss the comfort, not the connection. They miss the support, not the soul. They miss the stability, not the relationship. If you let them back in now, you're not giving someone a second chance. You're signing up to repeat the same heartbreak with someone who already showed you their pattern. A snake shedding its skin doesn't stop being a snake. A taker who regrets the consequences doesn't magically become a giver. A person who couldn't value you when they had you won't suddenly value you now that they lost the privilege. Let them miss you. Let them sit with the silence. Let them taste the cold they created. Let them try to replace you and fail every single time. That's not revenge. That's reality. Your absence is their lesson. Your growth is their punishment. Your elevation is the reminder of what they'll never touch again. And here's another gut punch they'll never admit. You were their emotional heater. When you left, the temperature in their life dropped so fast, it shocked their system. That's why they're desperate for a way back in. Not because they're healed, not because they're changed, but because winter hits harder when you're the one who caused it. So when your mind wonders, do they regret losing me? The answer is yes, but not in the romantic way you think. They regret losing the benefits, the safety, the comfort, the access. They regret losing the person who made them feel like they were more than their mistakes. They regret losing the ecosystem they never watered. But here's the twist. Their regret is not your responsibility. Their cold is not your warmth to fix. Their consequences are not your job to soften. Your life is moving without them. Your energy is rising without them. Your path is opening without them. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. You are not the lesson they get to retake. You are the lesson they live with for the rest of their life. And while they freeze in the world they created, you're stepping into a future that was never meant to include them in the first place. Their regret only confirms your worth. Their loss only confirms your power. Their cold only confirms you were the sun all along. Now keep moving forward. Let them sit in the darkness. Your light isn't theirs anymore. Number 2. When they lose the fire that held their world together, the cold feels like punishment. They didn't just lose warmth, they lost the only flame that ever cared enough to keep them alive. People don't miss you. They miss the version of themselves they could only be when you were holding their world together. Regret doesn't mean they've changed. It means the cold finally slapped them with the truth. They thought your fire was infinite. The universe showed them it wasn't. They're not just missing you, they're freezing because the fire they depended on is gone. And here's the part that hits them like a brick to the face. You were the one keeping their entire internal climate stable, and they never realized it until the universe yanked you out of their reach. They treated you like a fireplace they could walk away from and return to whenever their life got cold again. They thought your warmth was automatic, effortless, guaranteed. They never stopped to think that even fire has limits, and even warmth can burn out when someone refuses to appreciate it. Imagine this. Someone builds their life around a campfire, but never bothers to add wood. They enjoy the heat, sit close, stretch out their hands, get comfortable, but they don't contribute a single branch. Then one day, they look up, and the flame is dying. Instead of feeding it, they walk away, assuming the fire will magically fix itself. By the time they return, the fire is gone, the ashes are cold, and the night is freezing. That's exactly what they did to you. They enjoyed your warmth. They loved the comfort. But they didn't add anything. Not effort, not care, not consistency, nothing. And now they're out in the cold, trembling, confused and angry at themselves because the fire they betrayed will never light for them again. Let's bring this even closer. Imagine someone having a heated room in the middle of winter, cozy, safe, secure, but they get bored. They open the door, wander outside, and explore the snow like they're invincible. They tell themselves they'll come back whenever they feel like it. But when they try to return, the door is locked. The room is no longer theirs. They're stuck in the cold they chose. That's them right now, wandering in a winter they created, shivering because they miscalculated your value. And I know what might be running through your mind right now. Do they miss me, or just what I did for them? Would they be acting this way if they truly cared? Why are they suddenly popping up now that I'm gone? Let's answer it plainly. They miss the warmth, not the relationship, not the bond, not the deeper parts of you. They miss the benefits you carried, your emotional fuel, your reassurance, your comfort, your effort, your guidance, your steady presence. They miss how you made their world feel less chaotic. They miss how you made them feel like they mattered. They miss how your energy made their life easier. Not because they've grown, but because they're struggling in the cold and you're the only fire they've ever known. They were never standing strong on their own 2 feet. You were the support beam they leaned on while pretending they were balanced. They were the dead battery you kept jump-starting. They were the house you kept patching up even while it was falling apart from the inside. They didn't want to fix themselves. They wanted you to keep carrying them. Imagine a person whose entire phone is dead, but instead of buying a charger, they keep borrowing yours. They drain your battery, drain your energy, drain your peace, and then act confused when your phone dies too. That's what they did. They kept plugging into you like you were some renewable resource. They didn't notice the toll it took. They didn't notice your flame flickering. They didn't notice your energy wearing thin. They only noticed when you unplugged them for good. And here's the part that really exposes their truth. Their "I miss you" isn't love. It's panic. It's dependency. It's survival mode disguised as affection. They're not crawling back because they value you. They're crawling back because they need you. and those two things are not the same. Dependency is not devotion. Regret is not growth. Loneliness is not love. They want to come back now because they're desperate. They want access because their life is a mess without your fire holding it together. They want your warmth because the cold hurts more than they expected. But think about this. Why didn't they treat your warmth with respect when they had it? Why didn't they protect your flame? Why didn't they match your energy? Why didn't they give back even a fraction of what they took? You already know the answer. They thought your fire was endless. They thought you'd always stay warm. They thought you'd always be available. They thought wrong. They will extinguish your flame again if you let them close. That is the part you must understand with your whole chest. You're not a backup generator for people who refuse to grow up. You're not a shelter for people who destroy their own homes. You're not a heater for people who keep opening the windows of their own life. Your fire is powerful, but it was never meant to burn you out. Let's go deeper into their regret, because this is where psychology gets messy. Why does losing you hit them harder than losing anyone else? Why does your absence feel like punishment? Why is your silence louder than their apologies? Because your fire wasn't just warmth, it was transformation. Your presence made them feel capable. Your encouragement made them feel hopeful. Your energy made them feel alive. Your attention made them feel worthy. You were the light source that made their shadows shrink. Once you disappeared, everything they tried to hide from themselves came crawling back out. Without your fire, their insecurities multiplied, their habits returned, their mental fog thickened, their emotional chaos came back like an unpaid debt. They're not missing you, they're missing the version of themselves that only existed because of you. Imagine them standing in front of a mirror. When they were with you, the reflection looked brighter, stronger, better. Once you left, they looked again, and the reflection was dull, weak, and empty. That shock is what they're calling regret. But don't be fooled by that desperation. Desperation isn't proof of change. It's proof of loss. And you, chosen one, are not some flame they get to relight whenever their life gets cold. You were chosen to light your own path, to build your own warmth, to grow into the kind of energy that fuels your future, not someone else's comfort. You're not a fireplace for people who bring snow. You're not a torch for people who walk into storms on purpose. You're not a candle for people who blow you out just to see if you'll relight again. Let them feel the cold they created. Let them sit with the silence. Let them tremble in the winter they brought on themselves. Let their regret burn them from the inside. Let the universe teach them what you never could. Your fire is not disposable. Your warmth is not free. Your energy is not a charity. They had access and lost it. That's their lesson. Your job now? Protect your flame. Build your warmth. Shine for the future, not the past. You are the fire. They are the consequences. Let them freeze. You have rising to do. Number 3. Their regret exposes their loss, not your value. A thief never cries over the crime, only over the treasure they can't steal anymore. That's exactly what their regret is. A confession of what they lost, not who you are. When they say they miss you, don't get it twisted. They miss the comfort, they miss the stability, they miss the emotional security blanket you wrapped around their chaos. They miss the version of themselves they could only maintain because you kept cleaning up their storms. Their regret isn't love, it's withdrawal. Imagine someone who lived off free electricity for years, thinking the power would never shut off. They plug in every device, waste energy, take it all for granted. Then one day, the universe flips the breaker. Suddenly, the house is dark, cold, silent. Do they miss the electricity itself? Or do they miss everything it powered for them? That's them right now, sitting in the dark, looking for a switch that no longer exists. And I know the question creeping into your mind: did they ever actually care about me? Here's the truth. If they did, you would have felt it. Respect isn't silent. Value isn't invisible. Appreciation isn't something you have to beg for. If they truly cherished you, they would have shown it when they had full access, not after they destroyed it. Their regret comes from discomfort, not transformation. It's not a spiritual awakening. It's not accountability. It's not growth. It's the universe letting them taste life without the person who made everything easier. Regret doesn't fix patterns. Regret doesn't erase disrespect. Regret doesn't rewrite history. Imagine someone who only stops speeding after crashing the car. They're not suddenly responsible. They're scared of the consequences. Same energy here. They're not sorry. They're uncomfortable. They'll come back with sweet lines: "I realized your worth. I've changed. I'm not the same person." But here's a fact. Change without accountability is just manipulation wearing perfume. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them comfort. You don't owe them access. Their regret is theirs to carry. Their loss is theirs to feel. And your worth? Untouched, unshaken, unaffected. Let their regret be the weight on their back. You keep walking forward, whole, rising, and permanently out of reach. Number 4. They crave the benefits but refuse the work. Everyone wants the glow, but almost no one wants to stand in the heat that creates it. Let's stop pretending their regret is some grand emotional breakthrough. It's not. What they really want is access to the perks they once enjoyed without ever doing the work required to stand beside you. They want your wisdom when their mind is chaotic. They want your loyalty when the world stops clapping for them. They want your steady presence when their life collapses again. But rise to your standard, match your effort, show actual consistency, not a chance. They want the treasure without lifting a single tool to dig for it. Imagine someone who only wants front row seats but refuses to buy a ticket. That's them. They want the experience, but not the cost. They want the light, but they won't take a single step toward becoming someone who can hold it. They want first-class treatment while offering economy-level effort. And when they say, "I miss you," what they really mean is, "I miss the benefits package I didn't earn." Here's a question that might be poking your mind right now, but what if they really changed? Simple answer. Change shows in action, not in access requests. If they truly transformed, you wouldn't need to guess. You'd see it, feel it, believe it without being convinced. Growth announces itself through consistency, not apologies crafted like bait. Imagine someone showing up to a locked door they broke themselves and acting shocked it won't open. They're not sorry they smashed it. They're upset that they can't walk through it anymore. That's what their regret really is. Entitlement gasping for air. They'll return with soft tones, vague apologies, recycled lines they hope you'll swallow. But regret without effort is just manipulation wearing a mask. These people haven't evolved. They're operating with the same laziness, the same comfort-seeking mindset, the same unwillingness to rise that drained you the first time. Letting them back in now wouldn't be giving someone a chance. It would be betraying the self-respect you fought like hell to build. If they want access, they have to elevate. They have to meet your energy. They have to rise to your level, not pull you down to theirs. Those who value you will climb. The rest will stay behind, staring at the life they could have had, regretting the access they will never touch again. Number 5. You were their life support, not their free pass to greatness. People don't cling to you because they love you. They cling because without your energy, their life flatlines. Let's cut straight through the noise. You weren't a friend, a partner, or a companion to them. You were their oxygen mask, their safety net, their emotional first aid kit. You kept their spirit alive when they had nothing left in them. You believed in their potential when they didn't even believe in their next breath. And the worst part, they took all that power from you like it was some bottomless dispenser they could refill from whenever life punched them in the face. Imagine someone drowning, and instead of learning how to swim, they just grab your neck and pull you under with them. That's exactly how these people operated. They didn't want to grow. They didn't want to elevate. They didn't want to match your effort. They wanted a shortcut, and you were the shortcut. They wanted your fire without building one of their own. They wanted your strength without developing any. They wanted your support while giving back nothing except excuses, laziness, and emotional baggage wrapped in a smile. And I know the question sliding into your mind: was I too kind, too patient, too giving? Here's the truth. Your kindness was never the problem. Their entitlement was. You weren't a free ride. You weren't a step stool. You weren't a ladder for someone who refused to climb. You were the one doing the heavy lifting while they dangled off you like dead weight, expecting you to drag them into a future they never planned to contribute to. Letting people like this stay isn't compassion. It's sabotage. Every time you carry someone who refuses to walk, you slow your own elevation. Every time you lower your standards to keep someone comfortable, you shrink your destiny to fit their limitations. And you didn't survive what you survived just to be someone's emotional Uber driver. Elevation isn't just about going up. It's about choosing who gets to ride with you. Those who belong in your future will rise on their own legs. The rest can stay behind. Your energy is sacred. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Number 6. They can search every corner of this earth. They'll never find another you. People only realize you were rare after life hands them a collection of cheap replacements. They really believed you were replaceable. They walked away thinking the universe had a whole lineup of people just like you. They assumed your depth was common, your loyalty was standard, and your energy was something they could snag from the next person who smiled their way. Now reality is smacking them in the face, because the deeper they search, the clearer the truth becomes. You aren't a type. You're a one-time phenomenon, and losing you wasn't a mistake. They detonated their own blessing. Imagine someone tossing away a rare masterpiece because they thought they could buy another version at the dollar store. That's exactly how they treated you. They didn't understand the value of authenticity, so they went out collecting counterfeits. And every person they meet now feels thinner, duller, weaker. The conversations don't hit. The energy doesn't feel safe. The connection doesn't reach their soul. Everything feels watered down compared to what you gave effortlessly. And I know the question that slips into your mind. Do they regret losing me, or just the feeling they got from me? Here's the truth. They regret losing the experience of you because no one else gives what you naturally give. But that regret is not love. It's not change. It's not maturity. It's just the universe forcing them to face the consequences of their choices. Imagine them scrolling through people like shopping items, hoping someone will match your depth. But all they keep finding are knockoffs, people who lack your soul, people who can't understand them, people who don't stay steady, people who don't build, don't care, don't know how to hold space the way you did. Their regret grows every time they compare someone else to you. And guess what? Every comparison ends with the same painful truth. There is no second you. But their searching isn't your responsibility. Their loneliness isn't your invitation. Their regret isn't your cue to return. They didn't value you when you were accessible. They won't magically value you now that you're gone. Let them wander. Let them compare. Let them miss you. Their regret is their burden. Your worth remains untouched. You're one of one, and that's why they'll never find your replacement. Number 7. Their apology is a temporary patch on a permanent problem. A guilty conscience doesn't create change, it just creates prettier lies. Their apology isn't healing. It isn't growth. It isn't accountability. It's a reflex, a reaction, a panic button they hit now that the comfort you once provided is gone. When people lose access to a chosen one, they don't suddenly evolve, they scramble. They reach for whatever words sound soft enough, sweet enough, emotional enough to slip past your boundaries and get them back into the position they already mishandled. But an apology is cheap. Transformation? That costs work. And work is exactly what they've always avoided. Imagine someone breaking a vase, gluing it back together and acting like it's brand new. That's their apology. A cosmetic fix to a structural problem. A bandage slapped on the same wound they keep reopening. The words sound nice, genuine, even, but there's no foundation underneath. No changed behavior, no accountability, no repair. Just fear of losing what made their life easier. And I know the question that hits your mind: what if they really mean it this time? Here's the reality. If they meant it, they wouldn't have waited for the loss to speak. Respect speaks before damage. Accountability shows up during the relationship, not after the exit. Think of someone who only decides to value their health after collapsing. Their panic isn't discipline, it's fear. Same exact logic here. Their apology isn't an awakening, it's discomfort. They're not sorry for how they treated you. They're sorry they're suffering the consequences. Imagine a tree that looks solid from the outside but is hollow on the inside. Lean on it and it snaps instantly. That's their "I'm sorry." It can stand in a sentence, but not in real life. The moment weight is placed on it, the moment responsibility or effort is required, it collapses back into the same patterns that pushed you away. And here's a hard truth. People don't transform just because they lost access. They transform when they face their flaws. And they haven't. Unless they've done the inner work, confronted the behaviors they denied, and rebuilt themselves from the inside out, their apology is nothing but a pause button, a temporary silence, a reload of the same cycle. They don't want growth. They want comfort. They want the safety you provided, not the accountability you require. They want back into your life because you were their emotional cushion, not because they became someone deserving of your presence. Letting them back in without proof is not compassion, it's self-harm. It sets the stage for the same disappointment, same betrayal, same emotional wounds, same exhausting loops that drained you before. Your kindness shouldn't be used like a weakness. Your heart shouldn't be treated like a doormat. Your peace was earned, not borrowed. So let them carry their regret like a weight. Let them sit with the silence you left. Let them face the reality they created. Their apology is theirs. Their discomfort is theirs. Their consequences are theirs. You move forward untouched, unbothered, and unavailable. Their regret changes nothing. Your evolution changes everything. Number 8. You were their emotional backup plan, not their equal. People don't miss you. They miss the emotional stability they stole from you. They weren't drawn to you because they valued who you were. They came because you were the only thing holding their collapsing inner world together. You were their emotional anchor, their crisis hotline, their last-minute savior when everything in their life fell apart. They brought you their insecurities, their fears, their confusion, and you, because of your heart, carried it all. But when you needed support, silence, disappearing acts, excuses. They wanted you to fix them, but they never intended to show up for you. Imagine someone leaning so heavily on a crutch that the moment you pull it away, they collapse. That's them. You weren't a partner. You were the stability they lacked, the confidence they couldn't build, the strength they never developed. They used you as a shield against their own insecurities, and now that you're gone, they're panicking. Not because they miss you, but because they don't know how to stand without the emotional spine you provided. And here's the question that might hit you. Did they ever actually care about me? Care is shown in presence, not dependence. If they truly cared, they would have shown up when you were hurting. They would have matched effort. They would have offered support instead of draining every drop of yours. Their regret isn't soulful, it's survival. They miss the emotional labor you performed. They miss the reassurance you gave them. They miss the comfort you became. But none of that is your responsibility now. You are not a therapist they don't pay. You are not a safety net for someone who won't learn to walk. You are not a life raft for someone who jumps overboard on purpose. A one-sided connection is not love. It's emotional extraction. You walked away empty so they could walk away full, and they had the nerve to act like it was normal. Let them face the void they created. Let them deal with their own insecurities. If they only show up during their crisis and vanish during yours, they don't deserve access. Protect your peace. Protect your heart. Protect your energy. You're not their crutch. You are your own sanctuary, balanced, whole, and done carrying people who refuse to carry themselves. Number 9. Your absence forces them to face the truth they've been hiding from themselves. Your silence doesn't punish them, it exposes them. When you walked away, you didn't just remove your presence. You removed their hiding place. You were the shield that kept them from feeling the impact of their own decisions. You were the filter that made their life look cleaner than it actually was. You were the buffer that softened their chaos and made their flaws feel survivable. And now that you're gone, they're finally face to face with the truth they've dodged for years. Imagine someone covering a cracked mirror with a beautiful painting. As long as you're there, they never have to look at what's underneath. But once you take the painting away, the mirror is still there. Broken, messy, undeniable. That's what your absence feels like to them. Every insecurity they hid behind your love is standing in front of them now. Every flaw you masked with your patience is screaming at them. Every mistake you softened is now hitting at full force. And I know the question drifting through your head. Were they really avoiding themselves this whole time? Absolutely. Your presence made it easy for them to pretend they were more stable, more healed, more grown than they actually were. You carried the emotional weight they never learned to lift. You held together the parts of their life they refused to repair. You made them feel whole while they stayed hollow. Now they're alone with the truth, and they hate it. Their regret isn't romantic, it's survival. They're not missing your soul, they're missing the protection you provided from their own inner mess. You were their emotional escape route. Without you, they're stuck in a room filled with problems they can't blame on anyone else. That's why they're circling back. Not to love you better, but to run from themselves again. But here's the gut punch. Your absence is their chance to grow, not your obligation to return. Let them wrestle with the mirror. Let them face the reflection they've avoided. Let them deal with the consequences they created. Your rise is not a rescue mission. Keep moving forward. Leave them with the truth they spent years running from. You're no longer the shield blocking their reality. Number 10. They counted on your forever until you proved you weren't the fool they thought you were. They didn't think you'd leave because they were too used to you swallowing pain just to keep the peace. People who take you for granted build their entire personality around the lie that you'll never walk away. They convince themselves your kindness has no limit, your patience has no end, and your loyalty is some lifetime contract they never have to earn. They get comfortable, too comfortable. They get reckless, they get entitled, they start treating your heart like a doormat and your presence like a given, and the cruel joke the universe played on them. They really believed you'd stay forever. Imagine someone living in a house with free electricity. They leave every light on, waste power all day, and never once think about the bill, because they assume someone else will always pay it. Then one night, everything shuts off. Darkness, silence, reality. That blackout, that was your exit. You didn't dim, you left. And now their mind is spiraling with questions like, how could they leave? Why didn't they warn me? Did they ever care? But here's the truth they never saw coming. You didn't walk away because you stopped caring. You walked away because you finally started caring about yourself. Your departure wasn't passive, it wasn't emotional, it wasn't weak. It was a declaration, a line in the sand, a message the universe delivered on your behalf. Your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. They mistook your patience for naivety. They mistook your tolerance for dependency. They mistook your loyalty for fear of losing them. But the moment you walked out, all their illusions crashed like cheap glass. Imagine a child tossing a toy aside, thinking it'll always be there, until someone else picks it up, or it gets taken away for good. That's the shock they're choking on now. They never expected you to leave because they never believed you had the strength to choose yourself over them. But you did, and that strength is exactly what haunts them every day. Now they're drowning in regret, replaying every moment they dismissed you, every disrespect they shrugged off, every sign of love they refused to reciprocate. They thought the door would always be open. They thought they had infinite chances. They thought you'd keep bending. Instead, you broke the cycle. And let's answer the question they hope you'll ask. Does their regret mean anything? No. Regret doesn't undo the disrespect. Regret doesn't rewrite the past. Regret doesn't prove growth. Regret doesn't make them worthy of access again. What their regret really is fear. Fear of your distance. Fear of your strength. Fear of realizing you were the one person they never should have played with. Fear of knowing someone else will benefit from what they mishandled. Imagine them standing outside a door they used to walk through freely, now locked, sealed, deadbolt shut. They knock, they beg, they replay conversations. They say all the right words too late, and the irony is brutal. They only learned your value in your absence. But that education came at a price they can't afford. You didn't leave because you became cold. You left because staying became self-betrayal. Walking away wasn't giving up. It was leveling up. It was choosing yourself. It was protecting your peace. And it was proving, finally, that you were never the one who needed them. They were the ones who depended on your softness to survive. Let their regret sit with them. Let it burn. Let it teach them everything they refused to learn when they had access to you. You don't return to cycles you've outgrown. You don't reopen doors you closed for your sanity. You don't shrink back into the version of yourself they once took for granted. Keep rising. Keep moving. Let your absence stay louder than their apologies, their tears, their promises, and their regret combined. Number 11. Knowing your worth is the move that makes you untouchable. The second you realize you're the prize, every person who mishandled you becomes irrelevant. Here's the truth they never wanted you to figure out. The moment you understand your worth, you stop being accessible to people who only valued the perks of being near you. You stop being their fallback option, their emergency number, their emotional repair shop. You stop being the person they could drain on Monday, ignore on Tuesday, and come crawling back to by Friday. Once you recognize who you truly are, you become the one thing they can't manipulate anymore: unreachable. Imagine someone picking up a diamond, thinking it's glass, tossing it aside, and later discovering it was the rarest gem they will ever touch. That panic that hits them, that's exactly what's haunting them now. Their regret isn't a sign that you were worthless. It's proof that they threw away something priceless. They're not grieving the loss of you, the person. They're grieving the loss of the stability you brought, the clarity you provided, the peace you carried, the strength you infused into their life. And here's the question rising inside you. Does their regret mean I was valuable? You were valuable long before they regretted losing you. Their regret doesn't define your worth. It exposes their blindness. If they truly valued you, their actions would have matched their words when they still had access. People don't suddenly become respectful after the door locks. They don't magically transform after they lose the privilege they abused. Their regret isn't accountability, it's discomfort, it's realization, it's consequences, but it's not your job to fix. Walking away wasn't weakness, it was your power move, it was self-respect in action, it was the moment you finally chose yourself. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff while someone keeps dragging you backward, begging you to stay small so they don't have to grow. The day you broke free wasn't betrayal, it was survival. It was evolution. It was destiny. Your energy is too rare to be wasted on people who only recognize your value when it's gone. Your presence is too powerful to be handed out like a free sample. Your love is too deep to be poured into empty hands. Your worth is too high to be negotiated. Your access is a privilege, not a right. Your boundaries are protection, not punishment. Your standards are elevation, not arrogance. Reserve your energy for people who match your intensity. Keep your circle filled with those who respect your vision, support your elevation, and value your presence without needing to lose you first to understand what you're worth. And here's the final truth they'll never forget. You weren't just someone they lost. You were the wake-up call they didn't want, but desperately needed. You were the one who showed them what true value looks like. You were chosen for more. Keep rising. And in the end, chosen one, remember this. Your absence was the lesson, your growth was the proof, and your worth was the revelation they never saw coming. You didn't lose anything by walking away, they did. Keep rising, keep protecting your energy, and keep choosing the future that aligns with your greatness. Your story isn't about who let you down, but about who you became after. If this message hit home, press the like button if you haven't already, and if you're not part of our family yet, make sure to press subscribe. Your rise is just getting started.